Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Business of Being an Artist. We are the New Jersey State Council on the Arts professional development series designed to cover an array of business-related topics for artists living or working in the state of New Jersey. Today's installment of this series is dedicated to best business practices and focuses on encouraging the artist to think like a small business. Today, you are in part one of this installment called The Business Essentials and Knowing Your Resources. This workshop will give you the essential business knowledge you need to succeed, whether you are just getting started or you are looking to expand your basic knowledge. Part two of this installment, called Financial Literacy and Best Practices, will meet next Wednesday, February 28th from 2 to 4. And if you are registered for that one, you will receive another email with a fresh Zoom link to access that webinar. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. My name is Stephanie Nurbach. I am the Artist Services Manager at the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. I am also joined by my colleague Samantha Clark, who is behind the scenes. She is the Program Officer for Arts Education and Lifelong Learning. Together, we have recently been in cahoots, brainstorming, organizing, and implementing free professional development for artists and teaching artists. Our goal is to identify needs of individual artists in our state and offer services, including professional development, to help fulfill those needs and ultimately serve New Jersey's artists. The Business of Being an Artist is an ongoing series, and there will be more professional development coming down the road. In April, you will see that we have another installment of The Business of Being an Artist, and that one is dedicated to marketing and branding strategies for artists. New guest presenters will be joining us, so please keep that on your radar. Registration will open on March 11th. Before I introduce you to today's presenters, I want to touch on today's logistics just briefly. This is a 2-hour workshop with a lot of information to cover. We'll be hearing from 3 guests, and there will be a scheduled collective break just around 12:15 or so. And know that today's recording will be made available to you at a future date. So if you need to step away or if you need to leave the session early, you will still be able to access the information shared here. Please use the Q&A function for all of your questions, and the chat should be used for general communication and links to resources. We will take a few minutes near the end of our time to address questions live. However, should we run out of time to address all questions live, we will make them available to you in our follow-up email. So today's presenters are 3 very accomplished professionals with many years of combined experience in business, each having a unique set of expertise to share. Donald Newman serves as the Manager of Small Business Advocacy within the New Jersey Department of State's Business Action Center. As manager, he provides services to businesses of all sizes and stages of development, from startups through maturity. He's here to make sure we know what our resources are in the state of New Jersey and how to access them. Dr. Jacqueline Mejias Fuertes serves as the Regional Director of the New Jersey Small Business Development Center at Brookdale Community College. She is a well-known leader, seasoned business advisor, change maker, strategist, speaker, and Rescue Poetics is a self-taught, bilingual, globally published performing poet, spoken word, recording and teaching artist, playwright, producer, and the list goes on. Today, she will be sharing a flash of inspiration for pursuing business as an artist and her experiences with the resources available in New Jersey. The council is certainly grateful for our guests' participation, and I would like to thank them and welcome them most enthusiastically. So without further ado, I will take my leave and stop sharing my screen.
Well, obviously there was an issue with sharing the screen, but I think she was just about to introduce me. So I'm just going to start talking and take over. My name is Don Newman. I'm with the New Jersey Business Action Center. So what I want to do for you today is I'm going to I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the resources that are available, what the Business Action Center is. And because I want to leave you today with an action item, what I'm going to do is go over the nuts and bolts of forming and registering a business in the state of New Jersey. So I think that would be helpful to each of you moving forward. So, just bear with me 1 second, because we're all seem to be having technical difficulties today. But okay, so the Business Action Center is, see, don't think I'm updating you. So, I'm going to give you a couple more seconds. Give me a couple more seconds here and just make sure we're okay. Okay. So the Business Action Center is operates under the Secretary of State, similar to the Arts Council, which is led by Lieutenant Governor Taisha Way. We are also led by our Executive Director, Melanie Willoughby. And I'm hoping that you're seeing these slides go through, because my screen is showing that they are not. So bear with me if you're having any kind of a technical issue, let me know.
We're seeing them, Don.
Okay, good. All right. So we'll be taking a little bit of a guess on which slide I'm on as I'm going through this, since my computer is not showing it. All right. So our mission is to improve the economic vitality of the state. That's essentially what it is. I'm not going to spend time to read these to you, but that's what we do. So we work with businesses of all sizes, everything from at home businesses up to Amazon, and work with them and providing them with the certain skills that they need, or resources that they need, technical assistance, and so on. And I'll get into some details on each of those. We're broken up into different offices. So I run the Office of Small Business Advocacy. I'll talk about that in a little bit more in depth. But we have a business advocacy team. They tend to work with projects. So if you're a business owner and you're looking to build a building, you're looking to relocate your business, you're going through some regulatory issues that you need to get through, like the DEP or DOT or whatever the alphabet soup, they take on those projects and they can work with you on resolving them. One office I really wanted to talk about here, I'm not going to give a lot of details, but I want to emphasize, is our export promotion team. We have a team of experts that specifically deal with exports, helping New Jersey companies export their products and services. Art is an exportable product, and it has been has a significant portion of the export portfolio coming from New Jersey. So if you're interested in going out of the United States to sell your art, we may be able to help you. We can help you with promotion. We can also help you by a grant program we had called STEP, which can help you go to a show, an international show that's focused on exports. So I'm happy to have a offline discussion on that. but that is not something you should neglect when you start putting together marketing strategies. We have a planning advocacy office, which works with the municipalities for business development and redevelopment planning. Again, if anyone's interested in learning more about that, they can reach out. We have a business enhancement special projects unit. This is a brand new unit. What they're looking on is really place-based economic development. So if you do have a community, for example, that's trying to do an arts district, we may be able to assist them in identifying ways to work as a community to help support that district. We have a cannabis academy, which is going to be launched soon, which is going to do technical assistance for the cannabis industry. So if anyone has a side gig with cannabis, reach out to me. But I work with the Office of Small Business Advocacy. So what we do is we help businesses find the resources that are available. That could be mentoring and technical assistance. You're going to be hearing from Jacqueline in a little while. They're a great partner of ours, the Small Business Development Center. We're a financial supporter of that organization so that they can provide you with technical assistance for not only just doing a business plan, but throughout the entire life cycle of your business. One of the things I'm looking forward to next week is their awards banquet and gala. And I happen to know that in the many years that I've gone to that, all of the award winners you'll find have a long-term relationship with the SBDC. They're not one-offs where somebody went in, got a business plan done, and never went back. They're people that have used their services over the years and really leverage those services to grow their business. So I'm a big fan of the Small Business Development Center. I'm looking forward to hearing Jacqueline's presentation. The financial resources. We partner with the Economic Development Authority, which does provide some financial programs, but we also work with the smaller lending organizations, the nonprofits like the community development financial institutions. So if you're looking for financing, we could have a conversation about that. There are also some grant programs. I mentioned the STEP grant earlier about our exports. There are also some grant programs that are available through the EDA. They're very, very specific for very specific purposes. You'll want to have a conversation with us before you just go and start applying for grants. You want to make sure that you're actually eligible for those programs, and we can help you with that. Licensing professional certifications don't typically apply here, except I was trying to think of one place where it might apply. So if you were doing an art installation that included lights, for example, you may need to have an electrical contractor, electrician, who's licensed to do that part of the installation. So there may be some, we're going to say that was a pretty big stretch I tried to make just to tie that into what you're going to be doing. Government procurement. I mentioned actually before to our group here, before we started, the government now in most cases, when we're building a building, we ask for some art installation. Maybe it's paintings that are going down the hallway or a sculpture that's going outside. So there are some opportunities there. One thing that can help you in that, not only with government procurement, but also private sector, is being certified as a women, minority, small business, veteran-owned business, service-disabled veteran-owned business, or LGBTQ plus business owner. If you meet those qualifications and you have that certification, it could help you in obtaining some of these opportunities. So we can have a talk about that, and then other regulatory processes. So those are a small snapshot of the kinds of things that we can help with. My message is, if you have a question, you have a challenge, you have a vision that you're trying to accomplish, you reach out to us. Let's have a conversation, and we'll try to help you overcome those challenges, achieve that vision, and move forward in your business. So that's really the message of the Business Action Center, and we work with all the different other organizations that provide these kinds of resources. So how do you contact us? How do you reach out to us? Well, business.nj.gov is not our site. It's the state's innovation site, but we're very heavily involved in the content on that site. And it's broken into planning, starting, operating, or growing a business in New Jersey. So no matter where you are in your journey as a business, there are different parts of that website that will provide you with useful information to move forward. But the feature I want to talk about is the live chat. There's a live chat feature on that where you click your button, you ask your question. You are not talking to an AI. You'll get a little bit of pre-programmed responses, but once you get to an agent, they're a live person that work for me. They're going to be, and they can answer a variety of your business questions. Sometimes it's going to be with a pre-written response just to save time. Other times they'll have a conversation with you back and forth to get clarity on what you're looking to do and what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll respond to those during normal business hours. There's also a feature on there. I still refer to it as the navigator. It's now says, I think it's now on the site listed as a personalized guide. But it provides you with basically a starter kit for a business. Don't be fooled by that. It's also valuable for existing businesses because it can give you some information that you'll find useful. All right. And like I say, that's called the starter kit. All businesses have to be registered with the Division of Revenue and Enterprise Services. I'm going to very quickly, because I know I'm short on time, but I'm going to very quickly go through the process of registering a business because I want to give you action items when you leave here for things you can do right now. And registering a business is going to be necessary for you to operate legally, but also to access some of the other programs I talked about, the financing, the opening a bank account. All of those things are going to require documentation that you're a properly registered business. So if you're going to be an artist as a business, you need a business. It's not just the artwork. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. I'm going to talk to you that you can go through this navigator and through the navigator actually form and register a business. I'm going to also talk to you about how to do that directly with the Division of Revenue. So don't get confused. Those are doing the same thing. The navigator is simply interacting with the other website when you do it through the navigator. All right. So, but I do also want to mention some skills that you're going to need. So, for example, you're going to want to build a portfolio of products. You're going to want to learn to market your business, whether that be social media or art fairs. And I used to go to a lot of art fairs. My brother-in-law in North Carolina is a painter and has a website where he sells his work. So he's both on social media as well as he's a little older now, but used to go to a lot of art fairs all over the country where he would show his paintings. You're going to want to learn how to price your products properly, strategic pricing strategies, and then also how to protect your intellectual property. You have to understand copyright law. You want to try to maybe start doing digital watermarking on your digital products so that you can protect your copyright. So it is important for you to learn some other skills as you're moving forward. And that's what I hope this art series will continue to teach you. But let's get to what I wanted to talk to you about real quickly about how do I form and register a business. So these are the types of businesses that people typically set up. The sole proprietorships and general partnerships are the easiest way to go. They are not legal entities. They're simply an extension of the owner. So that's the owner doing businesses themselves or the partners doing businesses themselves. That the entity has no legal status. It can't own property. The individuals have to own the property. It is a legitimate way to run a business, but not always the wisest way. So when you're putting together a business plan, you want to have that conversation with which is the best way for you to set up a business. Legal entities are listed there. You're going to hear me say sometimes foreign corporations, foreign limited liability companies. The difference is that a foreign company in this context just means one that was created in another state and is getting authorized to do business in New Jersey. So when you hear me use that term, that's what I mean. So if you already set up a business in another state and you're just looking to do business in New Jersey, you could just authorize that business to operate here. People always ask me which one's best. Can't give you legal advice. It will depend on your business, but I can tell you that in 2023, we had 131,000 LLCs or limited liability companies formed, and about 12,000 corporations, not for-profit corporations. Maybe the more popular is the best option. Who knows? Like I say, it could be different for you. But as you can see, there is one that really is the more popular way to operate a business. First step is to check the name availability. If you're a sole proprietorship or general partnership, you can do that at the county clerk's office by registering a trademark. That's, again, for the non-legal entities. But for legal entities, you can go to this website. And again, you'll be able to get these links. But that's how you can check to see if the name is available for you. I do not recommend that you reserve the name. And again, I don't want to waste too much time, but that's for somebody who wants to reserve a name now, but really doesn't want to form the business for 6 months or more. They can reserve that name. Typically, that's not necessary. You're just going to go ahead and form it. All right. There are some words that are not allowed to be used in the name of a business or need special permission. If that comes up, you can always reach out to me and we can talk about why. The next step, now you have a business name, it's available in the state of New Jersey. Go to the IRS, get a EIN number, employer identification number. There are narrow circumstances where you won't need one, but I don't recommend that you do that. I recommend you always get one because it doesn't cost you anything. And the document you'll get from when you do this, it's called an SS4 form, and it will have a 9-digit EIN number on it. Those are important. That's an important document, an important number that you need to keep and make sure you have available as you move forward. If you're a legal entity, the next step is going to be to start to form the entity. The IRS doesn't form your entity, it just gives you the EIN number. So there's a couple of things you'll need. You'll need a registered agent. You can serve as your own registered agent if you have a New Jersey address. Registered agent is just a person who accepts legal documents on behalf of the entity. And the entity does have legal standing, like I mentioned before. It can own property. It can open a bank account. So how do I serve legal papers on the entity? And not you as the owner, but the entity. That is the registered agent who gets served. That could be you, could be your attorney, or it could be a paid service. But you'll want to have that before you start the registration process. Have that answered. Who am I using as my registered agent? You'll need a North American Industrial Classification System code. Not a big deal. It's just to collect statistical data. It can have some impact in the future if you're going after certain grants, for example, that may be restricted to certain X codes. So you want to be as accurate as you can, but no one's going to send a cop down to your house because you picked the wrong X code. So don't get anxious over it. For an example, I grabbed one there for artists, for painters, independent painters. So that would be a code that would be possible for you. Some of you may want to use. If you are, I mentioned before about foreign entities. If you're a foreign corporation, you'll need a good standing certificate. That's the only time it's necessary. I mention it, but you don't really need to worry about it. It comes from your home state, whatever state you were originally formed in. All right. And at that point, you're ready to fill out the form. So you go to this website, you start filling out the form. And at the end of that process, you'll get a 10-digit number, which is your entity ID number, not could be confused with your EIN number. This is your 10-digit entity ID number, which identifies your corporate records. And you will be also receive a certificate of formation. So again, a document and a number that are important to save. I already mentioned the SS4 letter and the EIN. Now you've got a 10-digit number called your entity ID number and your certificate of formation. All right. And then after you have that, you have to register for taxes. So it's a separate process you have to go through. And again, here's the link. It's called an NJREG form, and you will the document you'll get when you're finished with this is called a business registration certificate. Then you're going to get a 12-digit number, a state tax ID number. And that is going to be the same. It's going to look like your EIN, but it's going to have a few numbers added to it. And that's going to be the number you use to pay your state taxes. All right. So in the end, you're going to have an SS4 letter with your 9-digit EIN. You're going to have your 10-digit entity ID number and a certificate of formation. And you're going to have a business registration certificate with the 12-digit New Jersey state ID number. These documents should be in your files, handy, and essentially you should start to memorize them. You're going to need the 9-digit number to file your federal taxes. You're going to need the third one, your state tax ID number to file your state taxes. And every year you're going to have a obligation to file an annual report. So that is going to be that 10-digit number in number 2. So you're going to need all of those moving forward. All right. Certain regulated professions I already mentioned do need licenses, but we can, again, if that were to come up, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. All right. Here's my my contact information. The email address for the Business Action Center, which, by the way, you can, not the email address, the web address, where you can actually also go into the live chat, and also the website where the live chat is available. That's my presentation. I know I went a little long and I apologize, but I think you're going to find Jacqueline a wealth of knowledge and information that I'm actually fascinated by to listen to as well today.
Thanks so much, Don. That was really great. So sorry, everybody, about my own technical difficulties here. I'm back online and I'm with you. Dr. Jacqueline, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All
And I
right.
have to say thank you,
Take it away.
Stephanie, for the New Jersey State Council of the Arts for giving me the opportunity to speak. I will be sharing my screen. Also just saying, I think I'm having issues as well. Oh, hopefully not. Okay. Also to my colleague and friend, Don Newman, as he stated, and as you can see by my presentation that you'll see shortly, they are one of our funders here in the state of New Jersey. So first and foremost, I do want to share with you who we are and what we do. And much of what Don Newman said, Don, it's great that you took up that time, because you know what? It was part of my presentation. I'm like, okay, Don, I don't have to do all of that. And I could kind of go through mine a little quickly. So with that, again, my name is Dr. Jacqueline Mejias Fuertes. I am the Regional Director of the Small Business Development Center at Brookdale Community College, and I'm part of this amazing network called the NJSBDC, which stands for the New Jersey Small Business Development Center. And we are actually a network here in the state of New Jersey where we have actually 11 centers altogether. So I do want to tell you a little bit more about the SBDC and who we are, and then I'm going to go into the presentation. Really, it's more of a workshop giving you information, but what I do want you to take away from this, you should have a takeaway that I sent up to Stephanie that you can have, but also everything that Don Newman mentioned before, registering your business and everything, we do that for you at no cost. You know, we're here to make sure you have a great understanding of what you're getting yourself into. So, you know, you're looking to get the business off the ground, we're here to help you. Our goal really is to make sure that you are taking the best step forward. So a little bit about the SBDC. Who are we? What do we do? So we've been around for more than 45 years. Our particular center here at Brookdale Community College was part of the initial project when it first came to New Jersey. Our headquarters is out of Rutgers University, the business school there in Newark. So we have 11, it says 10, but now we're back up to 11 regional centers throughout the state, as you take a look at the map. And the purpose behind it is that it doesn't matter where you are in the state of New Jersey, there's an SBDC center that can help you. And we have over 20 plus affiliate and satellite offices as well. So putting it in your county, we do cover all 21 counties, putting it at reach for you. So any assistance that you're going to need, we're here to help you. So how is it that we assist the small business community, right? And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, we're here to assist you. I know this is the art industry. For us, it's about, it doesn't matter who you are, you're a business. Our goal is to help you start it, grow it, become sustainable. right? Because we are an economic development agent here in the state of New Jersey. So what programs and services do we offer? First and foremost, we have our expert small business consulting. And this is at no cost to you ever, right? So it doesn't matter what you come in for. We have expertise from A to Z most of the time when it comes to building your business. And if we don't, one of the things that we are part of is, and it goes down to the bottom, having an exclusive small business resources. And it's because of the way we're connected. We have such an amazing network and we have so many partners within that network that if we don't have the ability to serve you the way you need, we have a partner that's going to help you with that. So just going back to what Don Newman said, we are your technical support. We are funded in part by the U.S. Small Business, which is Small Business Administration, and the state of New Jersey through the New Jersey Business Action Center, as well as our host institution for us is Brookdale Community College and some private entities, because all together collectively, it's a community. And as a community, we know the importance of the small business and the role it plays in our economy. So along with that, other services that we provide is training and events. Similar to here, we're partnering up with the New Jersey State Council of the Arts. Why? Because it is critical for us to share the information on why you, the artist, should become a business, why it's important for you to become a business. So we have training events such as this and other events and other special programs. And then again, if you take a look at my next slide, you're going to see this beautiful matrix, I want to say, that we created really, and it's a model just to show you how we're connected with so many different organizations, right? And it is about working together. It is about leveraging our resources and making sure that we get them to the individuals that need them, for the small businesses that need them, in order for them to grow. So quick agenda, what are we going to cover today, right? So the first part, understanding the importance of operating your business. Going to go into that. Second will be basic writing for your business plan, because some people don't like planning, but my attitude behind that is when you don't plan to fail. And as an entrepreneur and past business owners, I've been through 2 business ventures that failed, and the one that was a success was the one that I took the time to plan. So it doesn't matter what business you're going into or the industry that you're going into. You want to make sure that you put something together that's going to guide you to get to where you want to go. And then Don Newman did a good job on this, and I'm just going to touch on this a little bit more, because I will take a look at the time, and it is about exploring the different business structures. Which one will work for you? I may go into a little more detail than Don did, because it is important for you to understand what you're doing, what you're getting yourself into, what's the tax implication as it applies to you. And then 4 is just, going over the different small business resources that exist here in the state of New Jersey for any individual, and especially those in the art world that are looking to start their business. So first things first, right? Here, understanding the importance of operating like a business, right? So when it comes to operating your business, you may think that it's counterintuitive when you're an artist. Because as an artist, you're like, no, I'm passionate about this. But I have to tell you, all small business owners, most of the time, are extremely passionate about what they do. But for you, you're treating your art not like a business, hinders you. So you want to take the opportunity to say, you know what? Let me start. I know I'm an artist, but I'm creating a product. And as long as I'm creating a product and I'm passionate about this, I should use this to reward myself. I always tell all business owners, it's not about just creating a business, but creating a livelihood for yourself. So think about it. While you're passionate about your art, does it actually pay your bills? Right? So I want to say no. I know that as much as I love doing certain things, if I want it to be part of my income to help me with the life that I created and want to sustain, I have to make sure that I treat it as a business. So when we're looking at that, one of the things that we help you at the Small Business Development Center is to help you plan, strategize, and we give you tools in order for you to survive. So why do we do that? One is that we want to make sure you have the freedom of being sustainable. What a wonderful thing if you could do things and not have to worry about the financial end of it, meaning your financial worries, right? So that can stifle your creativity. I don't know about you, but when I'm worrying about money, kind of takes too much time in my head versus how creative can I be. Also, by doing that, creating, it'll allow you to create some freedom to focus on your art. Because if you know you have everything set, you've come up with a price point, you know how to run your business, or you're getting to that point, then when it comes to thinking about your art, you no longer have to think about how am I going to pay for these tools, or, you know, my paintbrushes, or whatever medium you're using, how am I going to afford that? And also then looking at it and saying, out of, you know, creating a business allows you to gain recognition and respect. You know, in the art world, perception matters, right? So when you present yourself professionally with a clear value proposition for your business and a business plan, it shows that you've done your due diligence, that people need to respect you. Your potential clients are going to see that, galleries that you may be working with, and other collaborators. It shows that you're serious about your business, that you're prepared, and you're treating your business as an investment, right? Along with that, helping to control your destiny. So I know for a fact that business owners, once you get into it, you are controlling your destiny. You are going to determine how far you want to go, how big you want to grow. And sometimes it catches you by surprise that you don't realize how far you can actually go, right? So navigating the business side of your business is going to be so critical, especially when you're looking for that financial sustainability, right? You want to be financially stable. You want to be able to say, you know, this is the art I want to create. This is how I want to spend my time. It goes towards your livelihood, you know, and your lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle do you want to create, right? And then being able to have that creative control, that no one is telling you what to do. Basically, you are empowering yourself and you're helping to reach that full potential of what your capabilities are. Now, while I do know that you have this amazing speaker coming up after me, who is an entrepreneur, who is in the art industry, Susan Justiano from Rescue Poetics. I'm not sure if I said that right, Susan, and if I crucified it, I apologize. But I did want to share with you some of the 3 artists to show you real life examples. These individuals, each one of them in their own right, created something that actually propelled them beyond what they expected. So first, Shepard Fairey, right? And he's the creator of the iconic Hope poster, as you can see there, with President Obama. And he used his art for social commentary while running a thriving business. His brand, Obey Giant, sells merchandise like apparel and print, leveraging his art popularity and his message. You know, he also licenses his work. I want you to think, when you're putting your art together, you know, whether it's art, you can license pieces of it, and this could generate revenue for you. So why not, right? And then you have Amanda Palmer. And with Amanda Palmer, this is a musician that bypassed the traditional music industry channel to build direct relationships with her audience. She used crowdfunding platforms to finance her albums. Again, it's not always about running and getting a loan, but sometimes finding ways that you can generate income or have people actually invest in you. And that's what she did through crowdfunding, which is amazing. And the last one I want to leave you with here is Devon Rodriguez. And Devon Rodriguez, I have a special place for him in my heart. Not that I've ever met him, because I have not, but I hope to one day. Devon comes from the Bronx. I'm originally from Manhattan, but I did move to the Bronx. And he has an amazing, amazing story as to why he does what he does. And his company is Devon Rodriguez Art. And what he does is he started drawing as a safe way for himself to get out of the Bronx. You know, he, as growing up, had a bad childhood, and the art was what gave him peace, right? So what he ended up doing was he would draw people in the train stations, right? So he would be on a train, he would see someone, and he would just start drawing them. You know, what propelled him was he used social media, TikTok, to gain following. And this, I mean, he's a young guy You know, anyone to me, 26 is a young guy, right? So he's young. And the fact that he has been now traveling all over the world, his first showing at an art gallery was in October. And I was dying to go there, but of course, it was the day that there was a flood in New York and getting into the city was impossible. But the fact that he leveraged social media to catapult his presence was amazing. You know, his grandmother, who's from the Bronx, made these postcards to give out in the Bronx so people could go see her grandson's art gallery. And he goes, Abuela, why are you doing that? He goes, I have millions of followers. I don't need you to do that. And she was like, I just want other people to see how wonderful your art is. And it doesn't matter where you come from. You know, so now, you know, not only does he secure commission, but he's exposed his art globally to the audience like you wouldn't believe. So I follow this young man and I just felt that these are real life examples that I wanted you to share as to why you should make your art a business, how important it is. So going on to the next piece here, it's the components of a business plan. Why is a business plan and why is it crucial for every entrepreneurial artist to have one? So as I mentioned before, when it comes to creating a business, there's nothing like having a plan. And I don't want you to think that putting together a business plan is a tedious endeavor, that it's going to take you forever. Absolutely not. When I decided with my last business to create a business plan, I realized what I was missing from my two previous businesses that actually failed, because it allowed me to see where my strengths were, where my weaknesses were, where my opportunities would be there, and if there were any threats that would impact my business, right? And when you think about that, it's a regular SWOT analysis, but that's included in part of the marketing plan of your business plan. So I want you to think of the business plan as a bunch of mini plans put together to help propel your business in a way that it lays out for you a roadmap. It shows you the path that you may need to take in order to create a successful business. So is it important for you to have one? Absolutely. First and foremost, it's going to translate your goals. You know, why create one? Think about starting with your why. You're putting a business plan together. Think about that and say, why should I do this, right? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? You're trying to sell your art, your pottery, whatever it may be. You know, your artwork, did you put a story together? Don Newman, excuse me, mentioned intellectual property. That's part of it, you know, because your intellectual property, I want you to know, that is money in the bank for you. It's an asset for your company, right? So here, other things that you need to know is know your audience, right? So when you're looking at the executive summary and just going down the list to my right, the executive summary is a snapshot of what your business is. It's highlighting those pieces that you want someone to know, and they just want to read it in less than a page. We're not talking pages, we're talking a page, a couple of paragraphs, really identifying what your business is all about. Your artist statement is your why. Why is it that you're doing this? What is it that you're trying to achieve with it? And then with your market analysis, it's really understanding your market, right? The art market, what is it? And this you get by research. And it's one of the things that we are known for doing at the Small Business Development Center. And I want you to know it's at no cost to you. You become a client of ours, we order research packages for you. We want you to analyze the market, so this way you can have a better idea of how much money can you actually make. It's not a guess. There's a science to this, and it works. So definitely understanding who wants to buy your art. How big of an opportunity do you have there? You know, are there enough people? How shares, when you think about market shares, it applies to your industry as well. And then what you do want to do is you want to keep it simple. And while you're putting your plan together, within your business plan is creating those actionable items that you're going to be able to accomplish. I always say attack them in small chunks, so then this way you can actually achieve them. And then most important, your financial projections. How much money do you think you're going to make? That's part of the business plan. Analyzing and saying, okay, this is how much money others in the industry are making. I should be able to make the same or even more. You know, it's highlighting your competitive advantage. What's going to want someone to buy your product versus your competition? You know, why should they go to you versus your competition as well? So with that, tips, right? So just as you're crafting your business plan, here is where I really want you to stop and think. Here, you want to bridge the gap between your passion and your purpose, right? So don't lose sight of your artistic vision. That's not what we're going for here, you know, but it is the foundation of your plan. And here is where you're going to look at it and say, okay, what is my unique value? What is my competitive advantage? And artistically, what are your goals? And you want to make sure that they're clear. So you want to translate your passion into practical steps. Again, many steps are going to get you a lot further than trying to accomplish it in one giant step. All right. So here you also want to translate what you're trying to achieve and why into those actionable steps. And you want to create a strategy, you know, but you want to create a strategy that's implementable, because to create a strategy and then you can't implement it, it's a waste of your time, right? So how will your business activities support your artistic goals, right? And then embrace the flexibility and focus on the value. So I always tell my students, because I am an entrepreneurial professor, there is no box anymore. And that's what I love about being an artist to some extent. You guys don't see the box, and you shouldn't, right? So there are traditional business models, but they don't always work for the art world. So I want you to be open and explore different streams of income. It's not just about selling that product. Perhaps it's about putting a show together. There's so many different avenues that you can go in order to develop different revenue streams. You always want to have a diverse revenue income streams coming in, you know, so look at residencies, workshops, and even collaborations, and then value your art and time. Never undervalue the work that you do. You know, research similar artists and set fair prices. You know, be competitive. That's what the small business world is all about. It is about being competitive, but also take into account when you're putting your numbers together, how much you're going to charge, how much time and effort did it take you? Interestingly enough, not enough individuals take that and put that into their price point. And I'm like, you spent time doing this. It wasn't just the raw materials. So you have to make sure that that's incorporated as well. And then focus on providing the value to your audience. It's not just about selling at a lower price, because that's not it. Always remember your value, your worth. But it is about saying, is it at a competitive rate? Will they buy these products from me, or are they going to go to my competitor? So tip 1, start with your why and translate it into goals. Tip 2, I've been at another presentation earlier today, so slurring my words a little bit, and I apologize for that. I need water. Know your audience and understand your art market, because that's critical. In any business that you go into, one of the most important things are to know who your market is, or markets, because it could be more than one. And then keep it simple and actionable. If you go way too far and you don't keep it that way, it will definitely take away from your desire to create that successful business, right? So then exploring the different business structures. And I just want to take a look at my time. Okay, we're good, right? So with exploring the different business structures, and this is where Don Newman went in and he gave you information. One of the things that I do want to let you know is that starting a business in the state of New Jersey has never been easier than it is right now. Most of the things are, if not all, are done online. One document that Don Newman didn't go after, and it's because it's so new and it's from the federal government, and it's from the FinSec, which is Financial Secretary. There's another form that now when you start a business and you own at least 25% of the business, you have to share information with the federal government. And this is being done because of money laundering in this country, and it is going to be a requirement, or rather it is a requirement for everyone. So it doesn't matter if you start your business, you'll have 30 days to complete that form. If you've been in business for over a year, they're going to give you at least a year to complete that form. So when you're looking at the different business structures, one of the things that I do believe is you need to know what you're getting yourself into, what business structure is going to work best for you. So I'm just going to give you some pros and cons for each and why. And while you may think, as Don Newman had mentioned, the sole proprietorship and the partnerships are only $50 that you pay for, and that's it. To me, it's not always about price. It's more about liability and how I can actually protect myself and my personal assets, right? So starting with sole proprietor, it's the easiest and the cheapest to set up. Full control. You have that over all the decisions. Profits are directly taxed on your personal tax income. So when you file taxes, whatever you make as a sole proprietor, you'll end up doing a Schedule C, and that'll go on your personal tax returns. One thing about a sole proprietor is almost doing business as doing a DBA, because there's no division between yourself and the business. With a sole proprietorship, if you think you want to will your business to someone else, well, you can't. If you die, the business dies. So it is limited. It's also limited within the county, because the county is where you go to register for sole proprietorship. If you would want no one else to use your name in any of the other 20 counties in the state of New Jersey, you would have to go to each and every county and register. And now it's not that cheap anymore when you're looking at 21 counties and $50 per county. Partnerships, very similar to sole proprietorship, except here there's shared resources and responsibilities. There's not one person going at it alone, but it could be two or more going at it. So there's more funding possibilities. There's combined expertise that comes along with it. Definitely the con is the shared liability. And when I say shared liability, the same as with the sole proprietorship, that means that we live in a litigious society. And we all can agree to that, meaning that anything happens, someone is willing to sue you in a heartbeat. So that's where the liability issue comes in. And with liability, when there's no division between your business and your personal assets, if someone sues you, they can go after your personal assets. So when you're looking at a sole proprietor and a partnership, these are two things that I want you to keep in mind. Even as, a small business, an artist, think about it. Something happens, someone could sue you and you can lose everything that you've worked for under sole proprietorship and partnership. Now, when we're looking at limited liability company, the limited liability comes in different formats. It comes as a sole member LLC or partnership. As a sole member LLC, that means that it's one person who owns the LLC. And that's okay. And it kind of takes the place of the sole proprietor, that if you wanted to be a one-man show, a solo entrepreneur, that's exactly what's going to happen. The beauty, though, of the limited liability company is that there's limited liability protection from your personal assets. And it is relatively simple to set up. It is set up through the state, as Don Newman had indicated. And when you set it up through the state, no one in the state can use your name, unlike if it's a sole proprietorship or a partnership. There is more paperwork, but the filing requirements is not as difficult as you think. There is an annual report that you have to do every year as well. And depending on, we can only talk for New Jersey, but if you want to do something in another state, their fees are different than ours. I do want to tell you the fee for signing up or registering a limited liability company is $125, and that does include any additional charges, like if you're using a credit card or a bank, which, by the way, you have to use one or the other, because you can only register your business online, which to me, it's a wonderful and easy portal. And in our office, we actually have you come in, we sit with you, and believe it or not, all the paperwork, those that Don Newman included, are completely done within an hour. So it is something to think about. If you don't want to go it alone, know that the small business development centers are here to assist you in that. And then we have the corporation. So when I mentioned the sole proprietorship, partnership, and limited liability company, these are considered pass-through accounts tax-wise. And by that, I mean that when you're filing your personal taxes, you will complete either a Schedule C or a 1065, and that form, when everything is calculated, and those are basically profit and loss forms for the federal government, that information moves over to your personal tax returns. So when you're filing, like we all do April 15th, right? We have to file our income taxes. You will be doing the same thing for your business. So everyone is on the same calendar year and we file in April. With the corporation, however, the corporation is the one thing that's different from all these pass-through accounts. With the corporation, it does have the strongest liability protection. It allows you fundraising through issuing stocks. The potential for tax benefits are there. A corporation is considered a complete separate entity from yourself. You know, it is said a corporation is almost like a human being, except for the sheer fact it cannot vote, but it can be sued, it could sue, it could enter into litigation, it could buy, it could be sold. All that falls under the corporation. Con behind the corporation is the sheer fact that it is the most complex. It is an expensive structure to set up and maintain. Setting it up to me is never, it's not that complicated because we know how to do it in our office, but there's things that you have to maintain as a corporation. So if you decide to go that route, I will, advise you to definitely seek either our assistance, seek that of an attorney or even a CPA. But I want you to know when it comes to registering the businesses, the SBDC will help you with all the paperwork and it's at no cost to you. And while there's not one that's seen in this box, there's one called the S Corporation. And with the S Corporation, it actually combines the limited liability protection of a corporation with the pass-through taxation of an LLC. So here, corporate income taxes pass directly to the shareholders' personal tax return. And this can attract investors, through stock ownership. So it is something definitely to think about. It is more complex. Also, the thing about the S Corporation is that it allows for the double taxation not to occur on you, which means you would be paying tax. As a corporation, the corporation is independent from you, so it has to pay taxes. And then you as an employee of the corporation may have to pay taxes again, so hence double taxation. But if you elect to file as an S Corp, which is a subchapter corporation, the double taxation piece absolutely goes away. So what I do want to tell you with these is, while this is just a brief introduction, I do advise you to consult, to meet with someone who knows the different structures. And again, it could be us at the SBDC, it could be an attorney. And I do want you to know, while we do at no cost to you, attorneys will charge you. And they will charge you upwards of $1,000 or more so. CPAs tend to charge about $800. And it's just to get the paperwork. And I just want you to know that we're here to assist you. And again, it's at no cost. To us is what we call a counseling session. It's part of our technical support to be able to make sure that small businesses are actually getting the services that they need and they're able to register their business with no problem. So again, just reiterating what Don Newman said, registering your business, not as complicated as you may think, but some of us get stuck, and some of us, when it comes to dealing with paperwork with the government, are not that comfortable. So our job is to say, come, we'll either do it via Zoom, we'll do it in person with you, and we will show you all the steps. We'll do everything. We'll be sitting right there with you to make sure you register your business properly. Because the documents that Don Newman had indicated to are important. First, your certificate of formation and your SS4, which comes from the federal government, and it gives you your EIN number. Those two documents, the names have to be exactly the same and spelled correctly in order for a bank to open up an account for you. So, there may be things that you may say, oh, like I use the name Jacqueline almost in everything, right? But some people do call me Jackie. If I was to create a business and put Jacqueline and then on their EIN number decide to use Jackie, the bank won't take it. So it's a matter of making sure that your paperwork is done correctly. Some people even forget putting themselves down as members of an LLC because they said, oh, but I put it on top. So, and it goes in more places than one. You know, it's not that you're going to be the person collecting all the information or receiving the information on the company. You have to make sure that everything is listed properly when you are registering your business. So just because you put it on top as a registered agent doesn't mean that you are a member of the company. So making sure that that paperwork is correct because it can impact you down the road. And then Don Newman also mentioned the NAICS code. When we went through the pandemic, it was vital that people had their correct NAICS codes in their, when they wrote their, what is it? Excuse me again. When they got their certificate of formation and the numbers were there, as well as when they completed the NJ Reg, which is a New Jersey registration through the Treasury Department, that the NAICS code was there because that's what they were referring to, that number, to determine what grants you were going to receive. So for at that time, it was for those that were in the restaurant industry. And if your NAICS code didn't start with that particular number, you had to wait in queue before programs came up for your particular industry. So there is importance to that, and you want to make sure that you get the right NAICS code. And we're here to help you do that, right, as well. So looking at the time, and I just want to know, Stephanie, should I continue or do you want to break now? Because this would be a great time to break if we want to break.
If this is a good time for you, Jackie, then let's go ahead and take a collective break. It is 12:06. Why don't we all return by 12:11?
Perfect. Thank you,
All right.
Stephanie.
Thank you. This is a time for you to stretch your legs, step away from the computer, ask some more questions. Remember to keep your questions, if you can, in the Q&A so we can keep them rolling. And other kinds of communication and links to resources will go in the chat. Thanks, everybody. See you at 11 minutes after 12. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and continue with the next portion of Dr. Jackie's presentation, followed by a mini presentation from our artist entrepreneur, Rescue Poetics. Take it away, Jackie.
All right, so we're back, and just a quick little wrap up on this slide. Basically, it is, you know, for you to understand each of the structures. And just one second, technology. I'm trying to get it to, nope. Ooh. 1 second, be right back up. Okay. My tools. Okay, so with this one, just allowing you to definitely see that each structure has its pros and cons, but definitely it's up to you to evaluate what is it that you're trying to achieve, and then making sure that you understand the financial implications that go with each of the structures as well. So the next piece, it really is talking about identifying and accessing, you know, resources in New Jersey. And I don't know about you guys, but I love New Jersey. I live by the Jersey Shore. How could this not be a wonderful state, right? One of the things that I do want to share with you is the CNBC ran a study, and it turned out that the state of New Jersey has catapulted from number 43 in doing business to number 19 in the last year. And I have to say, a lot has to do with our government agencies here in the state of New Jersey and the programs that they're putting together. The New Jersey Business Action Center, we've done so much work with them, and they've come up with so many programs and making everything easy and accessible to you. You know, you can find almost everything online. Sometimes it could be a little confusing, and I understand that, but you have organizations just like the New Jersey Business Action Center, not listed here, but it is New Jersey Economic Development Authority. They're coming up with different programs, innovation centers, and even in the arts, because I know that one is coming to here, to Brookdale Community College. So places where you're going to receive more information, you're going to receive more technical support, and more importantly, opportunities for capital. Because one thing I didn't share, but for a business to be successful, there should be an educational component, a mentorship component, and a capital component. When you have all those three working within your business, believe it or not, your business is going to be successful. And then you have us, the Small Business Development Center, which I mentioned, we are funded by the SBA, and there's a reason for that. We're funded also in part by the Business Action Center, and there's a reason for that. They know the value of being able to support the small business community. And the SBDC centers here in New Jersey, which we're considered a network, we have such an amazing footprint in the whole state of New Jersey. So it doesn't matter if you're up north, doesn't matter if you're down south, east or west, there's an SBDC center there to help you. And we are considered the technical support for small businesses. We make it a point to create programs that are geared to specific industries. You know, our goal is to make sure that your business develops. And part of business development is education. It's making sure you have the tools. You know, I always say we live in an amazing time right now because of technology. I mean, I think of Devon Rodriguez and what projected him into atmosphere basically as an artist was TikTok. And I'm not a TikTok fan. You know, I'm more Instagram kind of girl. So that's how I found him. But it is to go and show you that it doesn't have to be that difficult. All you need to make sure is that you gather and gain the information that you need to make the right decisions. And then there's other organizations that exist. I mentioned NJEDA, and they really focus on loan grants and again, technical assistance program aimed at a specific industry. So there's times that it's tourism, manufacturing, but I want you to know they're doing it for the arts. You know, they're coming along. We're actually creating it here at Brookdale Community College. And then you have art organizations and associations. And you know what? With the art organizations, I mean, think about it. They are focusing on what you need as an artist, right? You have Art Pride of New Jersey, which is a statewide advocacy organization that offers workshops, resources, and grants for opportunity for artists to expand. And then, of course, you have the New Jersey State Council of the Arts, and they offer grants and professional development opportunities and resources for the arts and the art organizations as well. I have to say, until recently, I actually sat on the board for the Monmouth County Arts, which is now called Monmouth Arts. So I know the importance of it and how we're able to support the art community here in Monmouth County, because it is important to us. We're part of that corridor coming from New York into New Jersey through the arts, you know, and there's so much and so many opportunities here. So making sure you connect with them. And then there is the New Jersey chapter of American for the Arts. And then there's your local county municipal art councils, just like I mentioned. So they have, you know, opportunities to provide you with grants, because again, you need capital to really get your business off the ground and to help sustain it. You do want to create it to the point that it's self-sustainable, but getting there, it's a little challenge. And what I want to share with you is that the opportunities absolutely exist. Additional resources are your local chamber of commerce. You may not think so, but you would be surprised. Again, think of collaboration. Remember, the box no longer exists. So go as far as you can, you know, in your thinking, in your brainstorming, and figure out what is it that you could put together with the Chamber of Commerce, right? So this is a network with other local businesses. You're able to attend the events, you're able to access specific benefits for members, as well as the online resources. You want to sell something, you know, you have e-commerce out there like Etsy, Artsy. These are just some of the platforms to help sell your art as well. And then networking events. Don Newman mentioned the whole piece of attending art fairs, right? Gallery openings, you know, listening to art talks. We have them here at Brookdale all the time, right? Connecting with other artists, connecting with your potential clients as well, and other industry professionals. You would be surprised how far you can go. The point behind all of this, is the fact that there's grants and funding opportunities that are out there, but it's also about networking. And what I would love for you to take away from this, make it a point to network, not with your circle of artists is great. Being with people that think alike, because I feel that they help propel you and take you to a different level, but meeting other people who may appreciate your art, but are not artists. I'm not an artist. God bless me with 2 children that are, but I'm not one of them. And I know that. So I look at it and I said, these are opportunities and these are businesses more than anything else. And I do want you to operate as a business. I want you to educate yourself and feel confident that as you're putting your business together, you're doing the right thing, and then this is a way that you create a livelihood for yourself. You're creating an opportunity to create the lifestyle that you want. And this can be done through small business ownership, right? So with that, some key takeaways here as well. So going back to what I said earlier today, right? Key takeaway. So having the freedom through sustainability. Think about it. Freedom to focus on your art. If you create your business and financially you're set, income is coming in, you have diverse revenue streams of income, fantastic, right? So now you can concentrate on your business and you do not have to worry about how am I going to pay the rent this week, right? And then second takeaway, respect and recognition. How you present yourself goes a long way. You want to make sure that you're professional. You want to make sure that you've communicated, your value proposition. Know your business plan. What is it that you're trying to achieve? You want to gain that respect and recognition from your potential clients, galleries, and collaborators as well. And then takeaway number 3, controlling your destiny. One of the reasons I went into business ownership, being an entrepreneur, it was about having control over my destiny. I want to be in charge of me, and that could be my 8 personality talking, but it's a fact that I wanted to see how far I could go. And the fact that I was able to create a business from scratch, which most of you will be doing, and see that I had it and it grew for 8 years and I closed it when I decided to close it, to me, really, it's just an example of what we can all do. And this is why I've taken the route of being a director of it at an SBDC, as well as a professor of entrepreneurship, because I feel we can all do this. We could create our own destinies. All we need to do is be educated in how to do it and making sure that we take the right steps to get there, because it is easier than what you think. And I always say, sometimes we don't know what we don't know, but once we do better. And that's what we need to do. So having control over your destiny as an artist, entrepreneur, you're the CEO of your creative journey, not me, not Don, not Stephanie. You are the one that's in charge of your destiny and how far you want it to go. Is it hard work? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Beyond your imagination. It will take you to places that you never thought you would ever go. And it does open new pathways, believe it or not. So what I want to leave you with here is to stay in touch with us. Know that we're here to assist you, just like Don Newman from the Business Action Center, Stephanie from the New Jersey Arts as well. We're here to assist you. And any which way we can, here is our contact information. This is for our particular center, but I do want you to know that out of our headquarters, the website for them is njsbdc.com. And we have an array of workshops that are no cost to you. Most of my sister centers, as I love referring to them as, also provide workshops. So it's not about you just coming to our particular center at Brookdale, but it is seeking and finding the one that's closest to you, and you will be surprised the amount of assistance that you're going to receive and how far your business is actually going to be able to go. So we're good, Stephanie. And again, any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And thank you, Dawn, for continuing to answer questions as we go. And thanks for your help too, Samantha, back there behind the scenes. So much information. Know that we will provide you with a recording at a future time, as well as include resources that have been shared here today. So you won't miss a thing. So next up, we have Susan Justiniano, also known as Rescue Poetics, who is here to share with us her experiences as an artist entrepreneur and someone who has benefited from utilizing resources that are available to you in New Jersey. So take it away, Susan.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Dawn and thank you to Jacqueline. Thank you to Samantha. Thank you to Stephanie. And thank you to all the attendees for being part of this community. And that's what I keep hearing as Dawn and Stephanie and Jacqueline speak. I hear that we're not alone. I hear that we are part of a community that is looking to educate us, mentor us, as well as provide us with financial outlets and financial stability as we're going on. Because we all know as an artist, financial stability is one of the most important things that we can gift ourselves, right? So I became an artist entrepreneur back in 2006. And it started with a dream of just having my poetry and performing poetry in communities and not knowing where to turn at that time, not knowing where to go, not knowing how to build a business myself. So in utilizing these different resources, I was overwhelmed. So what I did for myself, I took some time, I signed up for all the newsletters, right, of all of the agencies that were available to me at the time that I knew about. And then I kept signing up for additional ones to get that information that I needed. And I built myself a plan. What did I want to do? What did I want to achieve? How did I see myself achieving those things? And through that journey, I've connected with so many resources, things like Google Drive for organizing, things like Calendly for automating my calendar, right? As an entrepreneur, our time is valuable. So whatever we can do for ourselves to get ourselves organized and put together. As a performer and as a writer, the tangible asset that I have is myself, my knowledge, and my experience. So that becomes a different type of entrepreneurship in a way. We have our ways to set our things together. And in order to do all that, we need to know where we are right at this very moment and where we're going to. So in utilizing the local resources, I'm in Jersey City and Hudson County. So utilizing the local resources, the EDC, the Economic Development Center, as well as the New Jersey Business Centers that are here, and my local Chamber of Commerce, Hudson County Chamber of Commerce, I'm part of that one. I'm also part of the New Jersey State Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and anything else that I can get involved in. All of these will provide opportunities to engage with a wider audience than what we're accustomed to. And a few takeaways, I don't know about you, but I spent the whole entire time taking notes, right? Even though I know that we're going to get the recording. Educational, mentorship, financial. This is the community that we want to get to know more about. This is the community that can overwhelm us sometimes. So where do we start? We start with having a conversation. That's how I started. I got in touch with my local Economic Development Center, as well as my local business center, and I started with a conversation. And that's how I got assistance in putting together a business plan, knowing what classes or courses I could take to further my entrepreneurship understanding. Because that's the key to it for me, is to understanding that entrepreneurship component. As a business, I need to think like a business. As an artist, I need to think like an arts business. How do I get involved? How do I become engaged in those different areas? and then taking advantage of the different resources that are available, whether you have a local arts council. In Jersey City, we have the Jersey City Arts Council. We also have the Division of Cultural Affairs here, and there's an asset map, a cultural asset map, knowing what's available to me, where a venue is available, where there are additional resources available, mentorship, graphics, design. These are all things we need to consider for ourselves. And little by little, in building up those resources for myself, creating relationships, and that's what everyone's talking about here, creating those relationships, establishing those needs that you have and how to meet those needs. And there's a lot of guidance here. And it's incredible the amount of knowledge that's been shared here today. If you were to go to a college course, for example, it would cost you quite a bit. And there are courses in getting a certificate in entrepreneurship. So those things become part of who we are as artists and how we develop our own community. Building from one thing to another to another. And that's all I'm hearing today. A lot of the information that I'm hearing today is so valuable and so very on point. And you want to be an international artist, how do we do that? You want to be a national artist, how do you do that? You want to change your art in different ways. You can grow, you can evolve. I started out writing poems and performing poems. I have become part of Art Pride NJ. I have become part of the organizations because I love New Jersey. I love the art scene here. And becoming part of these different organizations and learning that way, building those relationships has helped me to develop even further as an artist, as a playwright, as a producer, as an arts advocate. You're passionate about specific topic of the arts, you're passionate about something that needs attention, then find that community for yourself as well. Become part of those different things. When I first came across New Jersey State Council on the Arts, it was for knowledge, it was for opportunities. And I've learned and gained so much knowledge, so much more than that, becoming part of the conferences here in New Jersey, the arts conferences. And if you don't know where they are, sign up for the newsletter of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. And I'm not employed by them, but that's a resource that I use on a regular basis. In addition to that, I use resources such as Art Pride NJ, resources such as Premier Stages and New Jersey Theater Alliance, anything of that I can become a member of to get information and continue connecting, that's what I do. And I start by signing up for newsletters, by making that first step, making an appointment and connecting with people who can mentor me into developing, evolving, and growing. As an artist here in Jersey City, a lot of my poetry is international through recording. That's a way to gain passive income for me. I can record a poem and then sign up for one of the publishing companies such as BMI, and then I can get residual passive income that way. That's very important for me because the arts is constantly changing. The needs are constantly changing, and being able to do a variety of different things helps in the future planning of my business. I want to be able to sustain myself through my business. How do I do that? So that's what was spoken about here, how to be sustainable, how to stay on top of things, know your worth, which is very important. A lot of us don't understand that our time, besides performing or besides the final product that we're creating, is very valuable. Our supplies are valuable, the time, the energy, all these different things. And maintaining clear understanding of what your terms are, and it took me a long time to do this, your clear understanding of what your terms are and the expectations are very important. So it wasn't mentioned here, but there are contracts involved in a lot of cases. And that's probably something you can utilize through mentorship and through the resources that were shared by Samantha, utilizing the Lawyers for Arts and different things that you can use and organize yourself and prepare yourself. You're not ready to start your business yet? Prepare yourself to start your business. Start putting things together. Like Jacqueline said, small bites. Small pieces. Every day you do one thing for your art, one thing that will help you move forward. It doesn't have to happen all at once. Better you create that foundation for yourself to establish your LLC or your sole proprietorship or anything else that you want to do for yourself. And keeping track of those things that you're doing, keeping track of the events that you're a part of, the art fairs that you're a part of, understanding how those implicate your taxes are important, what you can deduct from your taxes, what is not deductible from your taxes. These are all things that have to be learned as an entrepreneur. So take advantage of these resources, and please feel free to reach out to anyone you think that can help you. And if they can't help you, then they can likely direct you to someone else. Building that network of connections is very important, and it helps in so many, many different ways. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here. I hope that I was able to share a little bit of my insight as an artist entrepreneur. And thank you, New Jersey State Council on the Arts. Thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing your insights. This has been very informative, even for me that I've been doing this for a while.
Well, thank you for that, Susan. That was great. Just exactly what we needed. Someone who's out there in the field, boots on the ground, doing the work as an artist, as an entrepreneurial, making your way forward. So we've been monitoring the chat and the Q&A. It's been great because everybody's like all hands on deck, and I really appreciate that. And so it seems like most of our questions have been answered as we've been moving through the webinar live. It looks like there is a question for Susan specifically. And that is about your revenue streams, Susan. What do you find are your revenue streams as a poet specifically?
So thank you for that question. That's a very important question and a great question. As a poet, my revenue stream started out as doing events, hosting events, doing the door at events, getting to know what was going on, and then establishing myself as a published poet, as well as a recording artist. That was one of my other revenue streams, recording my poetry to music. So as that develops, I've also developed different revenue streams to enhance that. My next step would be as a voice actor, then to use my voice as a poet, as a voice actor. So that'll be an additional revenue stream. I've published, I've done workshops, I do panels, I do different things and work with different agencies to create a variety of different revenue streams. So I'm not dependent just on one. Is that the capacity for everyone? Likely not. But do what's within your capacity to do. Find those passive incomes, licensing, recording, any of those things that you can utilize to have that passive monetary gain as you're developing your own revenue streams.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let's see. Here we have a question. Looks like Dawn is answering about can someone talk more about the 12-digit tax number from New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that live instead of typing it out.
Sure.
It's very, very simple. You're issued a tax ID number in New Jersey that you use to pay your taxes in New Jersey. If you're using an EIN number, which I recommend everyone do, there are circumstances where you can use a social security number. Do not recommend that you do that. Always get your EIN number. It's going to be, the 12-digit number is going to consist of your EIN number with a 3-digit code at the end, which we call the location code. And it's, I don't usually tell the secret of what the numbers will be in the first, but I'm going to do it today. Typically, it's 000 on your first location. If you open up a second location, that would be 001. But that becomes your state tax ID number. And it's used for all of your state tax filings, withholding taxes if you had employees, sales taxes, any tax obligation you'll file under that EIN number, plus the 3-digit location code for your business. But that's what the 12-digit number is the state uses.
And for those that may not know, the EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. I know we use acronyms all the time, Dawn, and we take it for granted. And then when I teach a class, they're like, excuse me, professor, what does EIN stand for? So
Yeah.
just sharing that EIN does stand for Employer Identification Number. And I agree with Don. I would never go at it using your social security whatsoever. You know, that could become public knowledge, and that's the last thing you would want. So highly recommend anyone that comes to us, we actually do require that you get an EIN number, and that's more for your safety than anything else. You know, so, and as Don said, those 3 digits at the end are pretty simple.
Yeah, and the virus we all suffer from is acronym. We all talk in acronyms, so
Yes, we
yeah,
do.
you have to forgive us.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we do.
Absolutely, is a thing at the State Arts Council as well. We joke about how many acronyms we have. There is a question that is specific to sole proprietors and their need to have an EIN and how that relates to them.
Absolutely. If you look at New Jersey, and sorry, Don, if you were gonna jump in, but.
It's okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that if you look at New Jersey, it does say that they want you to have an EIN number. In the past, they used to go with your social security number. But again, you're better off getting an EIN number. It does not cost you a thing. You get it automatically once you log on to the irs.gov website. You go in and you say, you know, EIN, that you want to apply for an EIN, or do EIN in the search box, and it'll give you the application to do it, and you get it right then and there. It's not as tedious as you may think. Again, when we don't know something, we tend to shy away from it, but it's as simple as that. It's not
Yeah.
difficult at all. And I do recommend that, you know, for us, when anyone comes into our office to receive our assistance, to helping them register their business, again, there's no charge on our end. Whatever the state charges, they're going to charge. It's not us. But we do make it a point to make sure that, you know, you have the EIN number that goes along with it. I prefer not to move EIN numbers from one company to another. I'd rather you close it down and you create absolutely a new one for that business, because we get that question a lot. I already have an EIN number, but it applies to something else. Can I just move it over? You're better off just closing that EIN number, which is just a letter off to the IRS saying that you're no longer using that number, and opening up another one. Not that difficult.
And just for full, transparency, I'll tell you, if you're a sole proprietorship with no employees, you are legally able to use your social security number instead of an EIN. But as Jackie's mentioned, and I've mentioned, not a good idea, because when you're conducting business, there are times when you have to provide your tax ID number. And in your case, you're going to end up having to give to someone your personal social security number. Like Jacqueline mentioned, if you want to close an EIN number out, it's easy to do. Guess what? You can't close out your social security number. That's yours forever. So you're better off getting the EIN number and just moving on. Not a big deal. But that would be it would be the sole proprietorship of no employees, or a single member LLC. When we talk about members of an LLC, we're talking about the owners of an LLC. They're called members, just like the stockholders of a corporation, or owners of a corporation are called stockholders. So a single member LLC and sole proprietorship with no employees are permitted to operate under a social security number. Terrible idea. Don't do it. That would be my message.
And I have to agree with Don on that one. I see someone here that they have an EIN number, but I don't have a certificate. You actually get it's not actually a certificate with your EIN number. You get the SS4, which Don also alluded to, and it's in a letter format, basically. And it says the name of your company on it. Along to the right, it has the EIN number, and the IRS has some more information on it. So I'm not sure, is it more difficult to file out taxes as an LLC than a sole proprietor? No, you're still doing the Schedule C. Doesn't matter, except you have limited liability protection under the LLC, and under the sole proprietor, you don't. I hope I answered that question.
I think so.
Yeah.
There is another question about, is it too late to sign up for next week's February 28th seminar? No, it is not too late. If you had signed up for this one, then actually a follow-up will go out to everyone who registered for either or both. Just in case we did miss anyone who decided to return to the second one. But also I'm going to put in my email address here just in case you want to reach out to me if you have any issue getting that link. Let's see what else we have here. If I set up an LLC, can I have different umbrella names to split my fine art paintings from my digital illustration services?
What they do is with an LLC, you end up creating alternative names. You're allowed to do that. I think the fee is still only $50 for each one, and it's good for 5 years, providing the name doesn't exist in the state. So you can do that. You can create an LLC to be the umbrella company, and then underneath it, you can have other names that it'll relate back to that umbrella company. If anything happens, it all goes back to the umbrella company, but you could have different names. Absolutely. Alternative names, that's what they're called. And there's a form. And
Yeah, I
remember
actually
the fee.
posted
I
an
can't remember
answer to
the
this.
fee.
Yeah, I posted this similar answer to a question in the Q&A, but
Mhm.
here's the way I describe it. I have a company called Shore Food, Beverage, and Hospitality, LLC. I then set up an alternate name, which is Joe's Pizza, and I operate as Joe's Pizza, even though it's the LLC that owns the company. I can also set up Mary's Bed and Breakfast, and that would be an alternate name that, again, is owned by the LLC and operates under the LLC. So it gives you permission to use a name other than the legal name of your organization. And a great example is that is every McDonald's you've ever walked into. The McDonald's that you walk into is operating as McDonald's. However, it's a franchise, so it's owned by someone else who, if they did it legally, would have registered an alternate name for McDonald's, even though the corporate name that owns that franchise may be different. So that's kind of the way to think about how alternate names would work.
Okay, we've got some more things coming in here. Where can I get more information about grant opportunities and also to register as a women's minority business?
Okay, so Don and I could those kind of high five each other on that one. Simply because, yes, it falls under BAC, but for us, we do help you. Again, we take you to the site. For some people, they'll get a little confused, but we take you through the whole process. Again, the state of New Jersey has done an amazing job of automating it. So it's online. It's not like before that you had to do paperwork and send things over. Everything is done online. You have to be ready to upload certain documents to be certified as a woman-owned business. But we can assist you, and any SBDC center really can assist you with doing that. We'll take you through the process, show you what you have to do, what's the site that you have to go to in order to complete it, and what is the documentation that you want. Also, you can register as a small business entity, minority woman-owned certification. You can almost do that. It even asks you now, which ones do you want to do? When you go onto the website. So you can do one right behind the other, providing you have the documentation that you need. You want to add to that, Tom?
Well, I'm just going to add to this portion. That program actually is housed over in the Treasury Department,
Okay.
but it used to be within the Commerce Commission.
Mhm.
Well, for about a year, while they were part of the Commerce Commission, I ran that office. I was the supervisor. So I heard a lot of appeals for people that were rejected for certain certifications. My point is, I know that program very well, and the people that are going to be looking at your application used to work for me. So go to the Small Business Development Center, make your application. Your registration has to be complete. The registration I talked about earlier, and so did Jackie, about getting properly registered. That has to be complete in order for you to make the application. But once you make the application, the last couple of years, we've waived all the fees. So apply for everyone that you think you qualify for, because there's no fee attached. The SBE, the Small Business Enterprise, that will be issued immediately. WBE, MBEs, and the others will take a little bit of time. Right now, they're operating at about a 5 to 8 week processing time. But if there's a reason that you need it expedited, and a reason would have to be, I'm going to miss a deadline for a grant or something like that, reach out to me. I'll see if I can help you get that expedited. But it's a very simple process. And yes, the Small Business Development Centers are excellent at helping people, guide people through that and help them do the paperwork.
Okay, and the questions keep coming. I work for myself, no employees. What obligations will I have if I get an EIN?
Well,
You have
yeah,
to pay your taxes, but guess what? You have to pay your taxes whether you get one or not.
I know
That's
it
really-
doesn't matter. But again, as Don Newman said, you don't want your social security out there. It's not like because you're applying for an EIN number with the federal government that they're gonna come hound you, or, no, it's still income tax you gotta pay. We pay income tax on the federal level and on the state level. And for your business, you're gonna complete the Schedule C, as I mentioned before, which is the what is it? Expense report, basically, for the federal government, your profit and loss. And that's what's going to go over. And you're going to have a profit and loss, even if you have no employees. So it doesn't matter.
And I see.
I would not use
here-
my social security number, no matter what. Go ahead.
Right, yeah, no, great point. Wish someone had told me that like a long time ago. For tax purposes, it will all be under the EIN and tax ID of the Umbrella LLC then?
Yes. One thing I want to share is that with your EIN number, it is attached almost to your social security number, because they need your social security number to validate who you are. Social security numbers are basically tax ID numbers. We all have one. That's your social security number. When you create the EIN number, you have to have a valid tax ID number, or your social security, or your ITIN number. Those are your valid tax ID numbers, and those are the ones that are associated with the EIN number that they're going to give out to you. So does it cover the LLC? It's a business. So when I'm reading the question, he has several different revenue streams. Yeah, they're your business. It's the money that you're making. It's not like if the government wants you to divide it any which way. That's accounting. That's a whole different, that's finance. That's next week, right? So making sure that you understand that all the money that comes in, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, it all falls under that company. So you may have different categories from where the money is coming in, but it all gets kind of lumped together when you're, doing your profit and loss statement.
Ooh, profit and loss statement. Is that a plug for next week, Jackie?
It's coming. The statements that you need to know.
Yes,
Good.
all right. Thank you for that. Are there specific resources in New Jersey for 501c3 formation or startup? Or would the support staff in the at the NJ back, for example, be knowledgeable in this area as well?
Sure. So yes, I do have some knowledge on this. First of all, I would tell you, I'm going to combine this with another question that somebody asked about the advantages of setting up an LLC versus a 501c3. A 501c3 is a nonprofit enterprise. It is not your business. You do not own a 501c3. You're a trustee that has been granted the trust from the state to operate a nonprofit organization. So if you're looking to be a for-profit enterprise, a 501c3 is not the appropriate organization. I'm not going to lie to you and say if you form a 501c3 that you can't generate a salary, for example, as managing one, you could, but that is not an appropriate for-profit organization. You would set up an LLC. However, so are there resources? Yes. The state library actually has a great resource for 501c3s, which I can discuss with you. There's a librarian at the state library, Lee Clark, who handles these programs. And then there are 7 other libraries in the state that have a similar access to those kinds of resources. There's an organization in the state called the Center for Nonprofits, which is also excellent. I'm not suggesting you become a member because they are member supported, but I am suggesting that their conferences and the courses, the information that they make available is excellent. There's also organizations like the Pro Bono Partnership, which is a group of attorneys who volunteer time to 501c3s. The point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of resources for 501c3s. Contact me. I'd be happy to talk you through with them. And also, I'm gonna leave it to Jackie, but in the past, the small business development centers were not really good for the nonprofits because of their obligations to the SBA rather. But I believe their state director tells me now that you guys are willing to work with nonprofits now. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are. The point behind that is, first of all, 501c3, don't assume that it's going to be in terms of taxes that you won't have to pay that. That doesn't work that way with the 501c3. And that's a federal thing to be able to qualify under that. So that takes paperwork. Regarding nonprofits, yes, the SBDC now can help us. If it's a nonprofit that is geared to helping businesses, it's not all nonprofits, because it does take a bit of time to put a whole nonprofit together, because like Don Newman said, you don't own it, you need a board. I did that for a client once. That was a lesson. A lot goes into it, more so than just creating a regular LLC. So it's something for you to really think about. What would be the purpose of you creating a nonprofit? Just because you hear that circulating, that doesn't mean it's a way to go. You have to think and say, okay, why would I want to do this? What is it that I'm trying to achieve? And I get that some businesses are looking to create a philanthropic arm within their business. That doesn't necessarily, you need to be a 501c3. I know the state of New Jersey hasn't adopted the B Corporation, which would be part of that. I was told yes, but I haven't seen anything done. If you know something, you can share.
Yeah, it's a B Corporation is a corporation that has a benefit
right
arm to it. Yes, New Jersey has adopted the B Corp actually several years ago. However, they haven't really pushed it a lot because there's not been a great interest in it. In the first 2 years that we recognized B Corps. I had done a search and I found 5 that were in the state of New Jersey. So, but yes, we do accept B Corps. So like I say, it would be a for-profit corporation that pledges to some sort of community benefit, and you would organize your business around that. And I'm also going to mention that people, why would you set up a 501c3 in the arts? I'll give you a perfect example. I help a young friend of mine. Young friend of mine. She's not that young. She's my age, but I helped a friend of mine set up a scholarship fund. Her mother, her late mother, was an artist and a teacher. So she set up a scholarship fund, small, just her and her family, to provide 2 scholarships a year to art students coming out of Freehold High School. I helped her set it all up. I helped her with the bylaws that she had to set up. I helped her just a couple of weeks ago when she asked me about some paperwork she got from the IRS. And that's what they do is they raise a few dollars. They give small scholarships to the artists coming out of that school that are going on to school to degrees in the arts fields for college. And I've had the opportunity to meet at least the first few of the recipients of that scholarship. And it's wonderful to talk to artists who are, basically students. They're very young. They're just coming out of high school. and talk to them about their dreams and what they would love to do, and talk to them about turning art into business. So that's why I'm also thrilled to be here, because like I say, I have a personal connection to someone who tries to do that for young artists in New Jersey. So so there is a reason for you to set up a 501c3 if you're going to do something like that. If you're trying to operate a business and sell your art, you're probably going to be looking for an LLC.
Absolutely. And so, yes, we do help, but I do want to mention another resources out there that actually has put great information online regarding nonprofits, and that's SCORE. So they put together a really good website taking you through the different steps, because there are quite a few steps that go along with it. You know, for us, someone had asked, do you need to pay a lawyer to create a LLC? Absolutely not. That's what I've stated before, that the Small Business Development Center will do that for you at no cost to you, except the charge from the state. We don't take on that charge. So yes, we help you with all the paperwork. By the time you leave our office, you leave with everything intact that you need, providing we didn't encounter any technical problems or any issues. You do walk away with all your documentation in your hand and in an electronic format. And there's no additional charge except for what the state is charging to complete the documentation for you. So do you need an attorney? No. I know someone made a comment regarding, I think, attorneys before and the arts. You know, when it comes to certain contracts, depending what they are, you may want an attorney to take a look at it. We don't give legal advice at the SBDC. And I have to put that disclaimer out there, because I don't want you to say, well, Jackie said. No, I'm not an attorney. Yes, I have a doctorate, but not there. So, you know, when you have to seek legal advice or financial advice from a CPA, we will tell you to go and do that. There are plenty of things that you don't need them for. They could be pricey, especially when you're starting your business. But in certain areas, like a contract, depending on what it is, you do want an attorney to review it for you to make sure that you're looking out for your best interests. So make sure of that.
And my message there, and this is true of all your professionals, your accountant, your attorney, and so on. It's okay to ask for them for advice. However, they're also trying to sell you things. They're going to sell you a service. So I'll do that for you. Well, doesn't always need to be done by them. You could do it yourself. And the example I always give is I know of a company that was up for sale, and when they closed it, when I saw their finances, their biggest expense was accounting expenses. Outrageous amount of money given to their accountant. Why? Because their accountant did everything for them, paid all their bills. And this was a CPA, not just a bookkeeper. Paid all their bills, filed all their paperwork, did all their payroll. As a result, they were paying some guy $200 or $300 an hour to do things that they could have done themselves. So get advice from your professionals, but when there's something in there that you can do yourself, you get their advice, you follow their advice, but you do the work yourself. And that way you can keep those costs down. So just always be careful about being too generous to your professionals.
I agree with Don. I mean, our goal always is to teach you so you can learn how to do it for yourself and not have to be dependent on others. You know, we focus with financials. We really look at using technology like QuickBooks. You know, it's part of learning how to use a tool to facilitate whatever it is you're trying to achieve with your financials is critical. But the tools are there. It doesn't mean you have to go out and hire a CPA or an accountant. You know, you can save them for when you really need them, tax season, something like that. Then you go down that route, but not, you know, just if it's something like Don said, if it's something you can absolutely do yourself, we want to make sure that we provide you with the education and the information and the tools to get it done.
Well, this has been fantastic, everybody. I know we do have still a few more questions in the chat, but in the interest of respecting everyone's time, I just want to draw attention to that it is 1:03 and we are scheduled to end at 1. I can certainly make note of all of these additional questions and be sure that they are answered for you in our follow-up that will be coming soon. Please remember that we are recording today, and this will also be shared with you at a future time. And next week, we will be meeting on February 28th, Wednesday again. That time will be from 2 to 4. And Jackie will absolutely be returning to share with us her expertise on financial literacy, going a little bit deeper into some of the things that were gently touched on today. But thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you for your robust questions and conversation. It's been a pleasure, and I thank you. I'll see you next week.
Fantastic. See you all next week.
Thank you.